Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Jason's Weird Reads, and thank you again for joining. I had a bit of a funny story. When I did my Hidden Gems Underrated Horror Part 2, I had a real hard time coming up with that list. It was weird. But what's even weirder is when I decided to do this list, Part 3, I had no trouble at all. I guess things like that are just, they're all about mood. Alright, so welcome to my Hidden Gems Underrated Horror Books, Part 3. And it's another top 5 list. And so let's get into it. In at number 5, I have Curtain Call by Allan Gunnells. Now, Allan Gunnells, I think he's definitely he's an underhyped horror author. He can write very nasty sort of things, but he'll also write these slice of life, what would you call them, sentimental type things without being overly sentimental. His sentimental stories will have a strain of logic in it rather than being overly sentimental. And that's what I really like about his short stories. And this Curtain Call was released by Cemetery Dance a year or two ago, and it's basically a snippet of his short fiction. He writes novels too, but he also has written a lot of short stories. A lot. This guy loves writing short stories. I highly recommend checking them out, and this is a great place to start. Curtain Call. It's got a snippet of what you can expect if you're going to read anything else by Allan Gunnells, and there's some really fantastic short stories in here. I can't recommend him enough. I love his work, and I have mentioned Mark's work before, but not to the extent I want to. So he definitely made this list. So that's Curtain Call by Allan Gunnells. In at number 4, I have Reanimators by Pete Rawlik. Now you can catch Pete Rawlik nearly every Sunday on the Lovecraft E-Zine podcast, which streams here on YouTube actually, live. You can catch those Sundays at 6 p.m. I believe it is, Eastern Standard Time. Anyways, Pete Rawlik has written a series. This is the first of a trilogy, and it's the only one I've read of the trilogy. I keep meaning to get back to it, especially because of the second one. It's called The Weird Company, and it looks very much like a take on 1981's John Carpenter's The Thing. And I love that film. That's my favorite movie, I think, of all time. So definitely check out Reanimators. It's very pastiche in H.P. Lovecraft's The Reanimator. And don't let that throw you off. It's very well done pastiche. It's sort of pastiche in the way that Wicked, that novelization of The Wicked Witch of the West, was done. In a sense, it's very well done, and I enjoy the hell out of it. I highly recommend it. It's just plain old. It's not schlock, but it's definitely pulp fun. Okay, in at number 3, Stacy over at Stacy's Reads. She's been talking about Hunter Shea a lot lately, and she has made me want to read the book that she read. Monstrous? No, it's you know what? I can't remember the name of it, but I know what it is by the cover, and I can find it easily. Anyway, so I want to read that book, but I did read a book by him called Just Add Water. I think Hunter Shea is an underrated horror author as well, and this book, Just Add Water, was just a lot. It was simply just a lot of fun. Okay, it's basically, you remember reading comic books and whatnot back in the 80s, where you'd have those sea creature ads in the back. Well, it's basically what this is. Except these creatures grow really big and they've got sharp teeth and they like to eat things, living things. It's tremendous fun. I recommend it. I read it last year and I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I don't remember. In at number 2, I have Shiloh by Philip Fracassi. I read this one and raved about it last year. It's basically a American Civil War novella, and I think this one sort of got forgotten. It's very visceral, very violent, and it's actually rather difficult to read. It's so it's so nasty. So I could see maybe why, or maybe that being the reason why this story hasn't really been talked about a lot. I think Todd the librarian read it and he enjoyed it. But I recommend this. As I said, it's brutal. It really goes into, sort of like the hand-to-hand combat type situation that will scar you. I love war movies and reading about war sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. I felt this book really caught what it was like to be in one of the most violent battles of the American Civil War, and so I highly recommend it. It takes place during the what battle is it? The Battle of, I want to say, Shiloh. Here, just let me read you the back here. It says, for 2 days in the year 1862, the bloodiest battle of the American Civil War held theater in southern Tennessee, a patch of land called Shiloh. Thousands of soldiers on both sides of the conflict lost their lives, and tens of thousands more were badly injured. For twin brothers Henry and William, infantry soldiers in the Confederate Army, the battle held more than the horrors of war. It was a portal to something beyond mankind, where demons tread and angels fly, where the spilling of blood brings not only death, but eternal damnation. Basically, the whole concept of the story is how you lose yourself. You kind of lose your soul in war. And the story, as the battle goes on, it gets weirder and weirder as to what's really going on. It's good. And last but not least, I have Whisperers by Kristen Dearborn. I read this last year as well, and I really enjoyed it. There's something at the beginning I remember that bothered me. It just didn't make any sense, but the rest of the story is it's fantastic. Pretty much it's a take on H.P. Lovecraft's Whisperer in Darkness, and it's a lot of fun. If you like Lovecraftian fiction, which this is like the second one I've mentioned, then I can't recommend this one enough. Kristen Dearborn is a great writer, and I can't wait to read more from her. And the interesting thing about this one is from Lovecraft Design Press, and so is this one. Interesting. Yeah, so, okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, please, and you enjoyed what you see and you want to see more discussion on dark fiction, then please hit the subscribe button. You can hit the bell, too, if you want to be notified. And like, and definitely comment. I like talking with people in the comments. Alright, thank you for watching. Keep being creative, and I'll catch you in the next bookish video.